This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at the Costa Mesa Playhouse for the opening of Little Women, the Broadway musical.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Aurora Culver, just recently got married, director for the show, Little Women. I've been directing in the Orange County and LA areas for over 10 years. I have a theater production company, and I'm also a director for hire. I love getting to direct plays, musical, Shakespeare, and I just always enjoy getting to be doing productions within the community and working with people in the local areas where the theaters are.
Great. So why did you decide to do this play?
Little Women is a show that is just very near and dear to my heart. I've connected with it so many times throughout my life, just at different stages of it. The musical is something I fell in love with when I first saw it, but I grew to love it even more when I would go back to the book and just look at the characters and who they were. This show, I really feel, really lends itself to smaller venues, working more intimately with performers and an audience where it's so much closer in proximity, something that I felt it lost when I first saw it professionally. So I really connected to the story and felt it was worth bringing to a community theater. I've had the opportunity to direct it multiple times before, and every single time I just find this show is just so beautifully connected with the performers, the characters, and the audience because of the small intimacy of community theater.
I really like the production that you guys did.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
How did you cast it? What were you looking in your actors?
I'm always looking for people that just seem so grounded in the realism of this show, of the heart and the soul of these characters. People who are just so willing to open up their hearts and their souls and just channel everything that they can. I feel that even if you don't have a cast that knows each other from before, creating those bonds between the different cast members is really what makes this show come alive. So when I was casting it, I was looking for those connections, just that giving of themselves when they were on stage, either by themselves or with another individual through the callback process.
I know a lot of people think of Little Women as kind of a feminist book, one of the very first that came out. What do you think about that?
I agree, but I also think it is just an empowering novel. Instead of having, your young fairy tale where it's a young boy going off on an adventure and coming across his different tribulations, I feel having these young girls who anyone can relate to and see the weaknesses of themselves portrayed in these women, and just see them overcoming the different obstacles before them, whether that's something personal, something relationship-wise, something in the pursuits that they want for themselves. And I just really feel this musical, even more so than the book, does such a fabulous job of making it available and relatable to anybody, any age, any gender, any background, just because of the way that the show is put together in such a across-the-board fabulous way. Even though the book is very empowering for women, I don't think it's in a way where it detracts from men. It's actually, I think, across the board, just a really beautiful, true-to-life view of people and their hearts. Does not matter who they are or what they are.
Yeah. So, well, I being a man, I don't understand, the woman mind that much. But could it possibly be that the writer just said, well, Joe's a guy and Laurie's a girl. Let's just switch their sexes. Let's make Joe a girl and Laurie a guy. What do you think about that?
I think the author, for her, she wrote a lot of herself into Joe, and she just did not connect with the way society viewed women. It wasn't necessarily that she saw herself as a man, but she related more to the freedoms that men had at that time than she herself had. She was looking at a world where she wasn't allowed to go to college. It was looked poorly on when she wanted to pursue her own career. And yes, she felt that she needed to take care of her family, but she needed to do that in spite of her father, who kind of left her family kind of on the lurch while he was going after his dreams. She took up jobs and did what she could to provide for her mother and her sisters. And she had no problem saying, okay, well, if dad's not going to do it, I'm going to do it. So I think for her, it's more the freedoms that men were enjoying at that time that she most related to.
Well, yeah. Again, I love the play, so I loved your direction on it too, also because I kind of like the focus and all that, and I loved your choice factors and all that. So, thank you very much for being on the show.
Of course, thank you so much for coming. We were very glad to have you here, and I really hope that anybody else who is able to come and see the show just really connects with the performers, the story that they're telling, and just finds a little bit of truth in the story for themselves as well.
Yeah. Thank you very much again.
Of course, thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Awesome. I'm Maisie Wilson. I am the music director at South Orange County School of the Arts. I've done that for the last 6 years. I went to UC Irvine, actually, loved it. And I usually work at Simi Valley Cultural Arts Center. I'm the music director there, and I've done a couple shows there. So Les Mis, Godspell, Bear, and now I'm here. I played Jo. Well, we start when Jo's 15, and it's basically the story of her and her family, the women in her family, and how much they love each other.
So what do you think of this story?
Oh my gosh, I love it. I have two sisters, and I have four siblings. I have a brother and two sisters, and so the idea of having four siblings and being best friends and sticking together and loving each other through everything is so dear to my heart. That Jo is so easy for me to connect to, because I just understand that fierce love for your siblings, and I love it. I just think it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's very hard to find classical pieces of literature that actually deal with women in a dignified manner.
Absolutely.
And not into some kind of stereotype and all that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, and it's not really about falling in love and getting married, which a lot of those books are about. It's about a family. And it's about their fights, and it's about them learning from each other and growing closer to each other, and there's marriage along the way, but it's not the focus, which I think is great.
So what's it like being the music director at a school? I mean, is it challenging? What's it like?
I love it. It is the absolute joy of my life. I work at a high school, so I love working with teenagers. They are very, very eager to do their best all the time, which is really exciting. And we have a great theater program, and the musicals are beautiful, so I get to conduct the orchestras for the shows. And it's definitely a challenge, Sometimes you get a cast of 50 kids, and you have to teach them all to sing beautifully together in a very short period of time. But it's really, really rewarding on opening night when your students get the applause and the feedback that they deserve. It's to me more exciting than getting that feedback for myself.
Is that what you want to do, or would you have rather performed? In the way that I have kind of created my life, I get to do both, which I love. It's sort of the best of both worlds. When I have time off from the school, I get to do a show, and then I go back to my school, and I find a lot of stability in that, a lot of happiness and joy. And I'm married, I live here. I don't have the desire to, go on a tour or anything like that. I'm happy at home with my husband, and he supports this. And if I get to do one show, every 6 months to just kind of refuel my passion for performing, that's good enough for me, and I'm really happy with it. I was told that basically if you want to be a performer, you have to go into a thing. There's nothing in the world you don't want to do besides for this, because you'll never make it. It's just too hard work, too little pay, too difficult of a life. If you'd rather teach, you should teach. Is that the advice you would give your kids?
I would say that you need to really, really want to do this with your whole heart and your whole being, and truly believe that this is what you were meant to do. It is an incredibly difficult business to be in. It takes a lot of hard work and perseverance and determination, and not giving up when you face rejection, which is really difficult. But I think if you have that passion and the tenacity to really make it, it's worthwhile. It's a really incredible career path, and I have a lot of respect for it. It's hard for me, and I don't do it as a career. I do it as a pleasure, as a hobby. So I definitely would say you have to really, really want it to build your life on it, for sure.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed the play a lot.
Thank you so much. It was really nice to have you here. Thank you. Thanks for talking.
Sure. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Emily Price. Well, let's see. This is one of many shows that I've done here. I'm not sure how many, but I've been doing theater for about 15 years, and I'm also a teacher during the day when I'm not doing theater. I played Marmee. Marmee is the backbone of the March family. Her husband has gone off to war, and she's left to take care of her 4 daughters, unassisted. And so it's all about sort of the trials and tribulations of taking care of those girls, and the joys and the sorrows. And she's the strength that holds the family together.
So what do you think of this performance, the musical?
I love this musical. The music is so beautiful, and the story, it doesn't get better than Louisa May Alcott. It's it's a very sweet story with a lot of heart, and it's all about the relationships of the characters and how they connect and grow and love each other.
Yeah, I've always liked the strength behind, say, Jo and all that, because there weren't a whole lot of women role models and all that. I thought she was a good one.
Well, the way that I see it is that the apple didn't fall far from the tree. I think that Marmee was a lot like Jo when she was younger, and so she understands the way that Jo can sort of be a little exasperating sometimes, and maybe not quite what society would expect of her. But I think that Marmee was there at one point when she was young too. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And you're?
Joey Nestra. I grew up in Murrieta, California, doing theater in high school over there. Then I went to school in Fullerton and liked the area so much, stuck around, and now I kind of do a lot of regional and local theater in Orange County and LA and Riverside. I played Laurie. Laurie is a kid, about 15 years old when the show starts, and he lost his mother and father, and he's living with his grandfather, and really doesn't have any kids to play with, so he's very kind of sheltered and awkward, and he meets the March girls, and they really kind of help him get out of his shell, and he ends up falling in love with Jo, who ends up rejecting him, and then he ends up falling in love with the youngest sister, Amy, and they end up being more connected and kind of becoming a March by marriage.
Yeah. So what did you think about the play?
It's really interesting. I knew the music for a long time, didn't really know the script, and I was kind of worried, like, how are you going to do such a big book in such a small amount of time? And they really found a way to kind of make it really compact, but still completely understandable. So someone who knows the book is like, oh, I remember those parts of the book, but someone who hasn't read the book, it's still a full story that you're able to follow. It's interesting. It's a fun play to do.
Yeah, I basically think of this as a kind of a woman's play. I mean, I got it as a man, but I think it was more of a woman's type play. What do you think about that?
When you look at the book, because a lot of girls grew up reading the book, and I actually didn't read the book as a kid. I reread it when I got cast in the show, and as an adult, reading it and looking at it from Laurie's perspective, there's a lot of stuff for boys. A lot of stuff about what it means to be a man and what it means to change and from like puppy love to not letting that destroy you and finding someone who actually is your equal and is someone who makes you better. And it does a little more in the book than in the play, but that whole aspect of it is something that I think is really important that I think guys can get out of reading and seeing Little Women as well.
Yeah, I guess that's one reason why it's a classic.
Exactly. That's why it's been around for so long. It's totally universal.
Yeah. Well, I liked your performance, and I like the entire performance of the Playhouse.
Well, thank you so much. It's great to see you again.
Great. Okay, and thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And you are?
I'm Hans Carlson. I'm at Costa Mesa Playhouse playing the role of Professor Bear. I am a sophomore in college at Vanguard University, and I've been acting since I was about 10 years old. Started doing plays in high school, but I was acting before that, doing classes and things like that. And I've probably done, at least 12 shows up to this point. Yeah, I played Professor Bear. Professor Bear is a 35-year-old German professor who lives in New York. He moved from Berlin, and he teaches at a school in New York. And he lives at a boarding house with Jo, the main character. And basically, they over time discover that they have feelings for one another, and then become engaged at the end of the show.
Actually, I like not only your acting, but I liked your singing. So I always like it when a character can actually sing and still be in character while they're singing.
It's actually funny that you mention that, because I have the Broadway cast recording of this show, and the Professor Bear in the recording doesn't use a German accent when he sings, and it bothers me a lot. And so when I first did the show, this is my second time doing the show, when I first did the show, I was like, well, I'm singing with an accent because I talk with an accent, so I would sing with an accent. It only makes sense.
Well, I love that. And even in voiceover actors, they say that a lot. They say, okay, great, you can imitate a German, but now can you imitate a German in pain or sick or being electrocuted?
Yeah, exactly. It matters a lot to know the different nuances of accents and things like that.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Maggie Goodman. I am from Salinas originally. I've been down here for about 6 years, and I just started getting back into the theater scene, doing different shows in the area. This is my first with the Costa Mesa Playhouse. It's been a lot of fun. I play Beth in the show. Beth is the sweetest, the second youngest sister, and she's really kind-hearted, and she just wants everybody to get along. She's very loving. It's a fun character to play.
Actually, you did pretty well for considering you haven't been doing this a whole lot.
I actually have been doing theater since I was about 12, but I just took a brief break around college, but then I'm coming back into it, so it's a lot of fun. This was a tough character to play. It's very emotional, but I enjoyed it, definitely.
Yeah, usually a death scene is really hard to express everything you have to say in a death scene.
Yes, definitely. It was very hard. It's hard not to cry on stage because I still have to support myself while I'm singing through it, but it definitely, every time I look at Jo, I want to start bawling because the look that she gives me is just so touching, and I have a sister of my own, so it's hard to do. It really is. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Diva Marie Gregory. I'm from Walla Walla, Washington, and then moved here about 5 years ago, and I've been acting since I moved. I play Meg. Meg is the eldest daughter. She's very elegant, poised, refined, and really wants romance in her life.
And what do you think about this play? And actually the characters in the play.
I think they're all really dynamic, and everyone can relate with one of the women, no matter what time in their life that they're in.
Excellent. Yeah, I liked it because I didn't think they weren't exactly stereotypes of women.
Yeah. Each woman is very strong. The March family is very progressive in the idea of women and who women are and what they can do. And each one of the little women, each one of the sisters has her own vision of what she wants to be as a woman. Meg wants to get married and have children, which is great for her. Jo wants to become a writer, which is wonderful for her as well.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
I'm Lauren Osius. I am a high schooler, and I've been doing theater for about 5 years and maybe 3 years seriously, and I just do community theaters around the area, and I also dance, and I played Amy March. Amy is the youngest of the 4 March girls, which actually I'm the youngest of 4 girls in real life, but she always wants attention. She's a little bit like that bratty younger sister because she fights a lot with Jo, and she just wants elegance and fine things even at a very young age, and when she grows up she is like a very proper lady, and yeah.
So you're a high schooler and you're basically playing a kid and all that. I've always been fascinated by that because a lot of people, even in community theater, they have adults play.
Yeah, they do. But even as like a high schooler, you have to like figure out how to like tap back into that kid mindset without being too making it seem like you're not a kid, I guess. But you you really just it's really fun to like be able to play like a kid like that.
Yeah, well actually I enjoyed the way you grew up and become an adult in the
well, thank you. That was it was really fun to be able to do both sides, like play the little kid and then grow up into the young lady, and it was fun trying to like make those different but still the same person, I guess.
Great, well thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for coming.
Little Women, the Broadway musical, will be playing at the Costa Mesa Playhouse from May 29th to June 28th. For more information, go to www.costamesaplayhouse.com or theorangecurtainrev.com.